Good morning. This is Sales Chatter, the logistics podcast where we try to help 10,000 reps hit a million GP. I'm your co-host, Ryan Mohammed, aka the Logistics Monk sometimes. With me is my main man, the Bodacious Cowboy, President and CEO of RGTX Logistics Solutions, Jeff Dickinson. How you doing this morning, brother?
Great. We're almost at the end of the week, and I am definitely looking to continue our conversation about empowering women into logistics. And we have a great guest today, Kelly Baureko. So let's get into it and let's do it.
Welcome to the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Love that. That was amazing. I want to say good morning to Kat. So happy to see you this morning. And first, before we get started, I want to thank our corporate sponsor, Daman at Centurion Trucking and American Logistics. They are looking for agents across North America paying up to 60% GP. So now that we got that out of the way, Jeff, who do we have today?
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, we had such a great week so far with all the terrific guests. I mean, how we put it together, I don't know, but I am so appreciative of them joining us on such an important topic. And today we continue to talk about and discuss empowering women into logistics. So take it away and tell everybody who we have on board today.
Of course. So I want to introduce everybody to Kelly Baureko, who is the Recruitment Manager at Hermann TDS. She's amazing. It's like she said, it's her first time today, but she's a pro. She's gonna rock it today. So good morning, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. So happy that you can be here with us. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself, about your background, about what you like, and how did you get into logistics?
So, hello everyone, I'm Kelly. I have been a recruiter or in recruiting for over 15 years now. It's in my blood. I thrive within logistics. When I initially started out, I was dealing with warehousing and I loved every moment of it. Once you're involved in the supply chain, it's an organism of its own. And I've just kind of gone through warehousing logistics. Now I'm in transportation, recruiting truck drivers for Harmann. And that's me.
Great. And I appreciate you joining us today on such an important topic. And I've always started out each show regarding this topic about Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, where we were, where we are now, where we need to be, and how the heck are we going to get there? It's such an important topic to discuss, and it's not something that most recently was brought up, but it has been discussed. But we wanted to discuss it even more because there's so many sectors within the logistics industry that women are affected, how they're being treated, their pay, positions that they take, etc. And I want to get your feedback and from your experience, what have you seen in the industry in the last 15 years? And you've been working for Hermann at TDS for all that time, or have you been with others?
No, I was actually, I'm fairly new to Hermann. I was with a different company that specialized in logistics, although dealing with Hermann the entire time. They were actually a client. So I've known them the entire span. And you're asking some loaded questions because I've seen over the 15 years, I think we've come a long way. We're making a name for ourselves in the industry, although I don't think it's enough. And I almost feel in recent years, maybe the last couple of years, we've actually stepped back rather than forward.
Why is that?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't have an answer for it. And I wish I did. I don't know if it's just, when you think of warehousing, transportation, logistics, I don't know if it's just because it's male dominated. I'm not really sure. But I can tell you that some of the best forklift drivers I've ever seen have been women. Some of the best, pickers, packers, truck drivers. It doesn't matter the sex. It's the skill set. And it's a shame. We need to do more to get more women through the door.
I could not agree with you more on that. And I know prior to going live on the show, we were talking about the warehousing, this truck drivers, and you stated that there were more women in the warehousing sector of your business, and that it's not where it needs to be in the trucking. So let's talk about the warehousing. You brought it up just a little bit. What makes it more viable for women working in that type of sector within the logistics industry and the operations on the warehouse side compared to trucking? Because we don't see enough women in the trucking sector right now. We are moving in the right direction, but like you said, we're not where we really need to be. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Right. That's a tough one. And I don't really have an answer. I don't know if it's the women typically tend to be the caretakers. I don't know if it's leaving home and being worried about the children at home, but that's really not a valid excuse because there are local routes. There are, 9 to 5s in trucking just the same as there is logistics. So if you could figure that out, that would make my job a whole lot easier because that's my goal, to get more women in the seats.
And so what are you doing about that? What kind of goals are you setting for yourself to attract more women to Hermann TDS? I'm just curious because you know why I asked that? It's like, what we're trying to do is we're trying to set benchmarks or give alternatives and options or solutions to the ongoing problem that definitely does exist. And the thing is that maybe you have an idea that others have not thought of, and I love thought-provoking ideas just to get that kind of started. So what are your thoughts about this? What are you thinking about doing?
I know when I came on board with Hermann, I was out of my element because my entire history was in the warehousing side, not necessarily the driver. I didn't know transportation, and transportation has its own language, essentially. I had to learn a lot. And one of the first things I did was go online and ask, hey, where are the women's transportation groups? Where can I connect with women in transportation? Where are those women truck drivers? And I found out very quickly that there are not many groups. There's not many organizations. There's not many places to go to as a woman in the industry. And I was called out for it. I got slammed for asking that by a lot of men. They were angry with me and they said, well, why are you looking for this? Why do you need women? Why does it have to be about sex? And I agreed. I stepped back and I said, you're right. I guess I'm looking for a safe space. I was looking for a comfort zone, but you're right. I don't need a woman. If you're willing to mentor me, if you're willing to teach me about this world, fine, I accept it. You're right. I was wrong. And it didn't turn out very well. Exactly my fear of what would happen did happen. Conversations became inappropriate, and I back my stance that we, unfortunately, need a safe space. We need more women's groups. We need women in transportation. I don't want to have to worry about having to dodge, remarks or it's a shame and it shouldn't be that way, but we need our own organizations, and there aren't enough of them. And that's one thing that I intend to do is make that safe space, make a group where we can all be and just be ourselves and learn and thrive in the industry.
What you just said was really alarming to me, that someone would actually say what you just said. I'm kind of taken back by that because I can't believe that that's still going on, to be perfectly honest with you. But I can tell you one thing right now, okay? What was said was totally inappropriate, number one. Number two, if you need to speak to somebody in the industry, in trucking, in logistics, after the show, I'll be more than happy to give you a few women that I strongly suggest that you reach out. They'll be more than happy to help you out in that area. Um, I mean, when I say happy, I mean really happy, because it seems to me that that is exactly the way that you want to go, and I will do
Right.
everything in my power to help you out to get you to go to where you need to be. But I'm really taken back. Hey Ryan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, the one thing that comes out to me the most, Kelly, is that, hey, we need a safe space, right? And that's what our mission of our season 2 here. But for me, like you said, you came over from the warehousing side and now you're recruiting truck drivers. Not necessarily just women alone, because discussion that we had is that, hey, truck drivers, it's down at the moment. We've got the older generation kind of leading that path. In your opinion, how do we, for lack of better words, Kelly, how do we make truck driving sexy again? How do we make that something that somebody comes out of college and is like, hey, I want to do this, whether it be male or female?
In my opinion, I think right now we're in a transitional phase because we have the old school drivers, the ones that, they're holding us up. Those old school drivers are keeping us afloat right now. They're the ones that are reliable, that will do A, B, and C. They don't, whatever is in the truck is in the truck, whether it be cameras, microphones, whatever. And then you have the middle generation, the younger generation currently, that maybe isn't so comfortable with it. Technology has come into transportation in a big way, and they're romanticizing the old school trucking. So they're not happy. They don't want to be under that microscope with technology. I'm hoping within the next few years, the younger generation that's been used to, they've grown up on Facebook. They grew up on Twitter and TikTok. They're comfortable under the microscope. So my personal theory is that within a few years, the younger generation will adapt to the new way of trucking, this new transportation world we're in, and it'll be out of the lull. Until then, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, trucking has changed and it's evolved into a technical world. It's not like it used to be.
It's amazing. I love that, that we still can go different ways with it. When you're, like you said, you're recruiting drivers, how do you guys kind of do that? Like, what's kind of the process? Are you guys still going to like schools, like like colleges and universities for recruitment and let them know who you are, or is it kind of website traffic? What ways is recruitment kind of like in your path?
So we do not do schools because we do require a year of experience. I'm pretty much using it's website traffic. It's where truck drivers are, whatever websites they're hanging on, Craigslist, Indeed. I'm doing the old-fashioned recruiting where I'm getting my number out there and just trying to solicit as many drivers as I can.
Love that. And it's just opening it up for there. Your role, like you said, you came from previously doing warehousing and staffing and different things like that. Now you're into kind of like a new role of doing drivers for yourself and working at Hermann. What kind of reservations did you have jumping yourself into it? Because the mindset I kind of have is like a lot of people are watching this and they kind of maybe they want to make that jump into logistics, whether it be on the operations side or the customer service side or the truck driving or even the sales side. What reservations did you personally have going into recruiting drivers, and what advice would you give to somebody brand new who they want to take that dive?
I'm not sure about reservations. The only reservations I ever have are that I don't know enough. I'm always worried. I need to know everything about everything. I have to learn everything there is to learn about whatever I'm dealing with. But I'm sorry, my lights went out. As far as people looking, especially women, to get in the industry, there's room, and there's so much growth and opportunity. To me, I feel like we're living in the Wild West right now. There is so much transformation happening and so many things that are being built that, there's opportunity here. If a woman is, regardless whether if you're a mother, you're not a mother, or you can accommodate any schedule. You can, warehousing, logistics, trucking, it's 24/7. There's an opportunity for everyone in this world.
Awesome. A question. Before we went on air, we were talking about the women that are working for you and the drivers, and you said you had a couple in Texas, right? Like two in Texas, and you have one in where?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay. How many drivers does Hermann have?
I believe it's about 155.
Wow. So there's a huge difference, and you're
Huge
not the only one I could. Yeah. You're not the only one, I can tell you that. So, like you said, there is huge opportunities for women to jump into that segment of the industry. And what are you? I may have asked this before, but what are you doing to entice, to get women to talk to you about, your openings? That, like I said, may help other carriers out there to kind of do the same thing.
Well, one thing that's a tough question, because like I said before, we're not doing enough. But one thing is, a lot of our advertising, a lot of the pictures that you see, it's not just men. You have women in the photo to show, look, women are doing this. This is something you can do too. I'm fortunate, the freight that we're dealing with, it's all no touch. So it's not, I've seen a lot of women on forums, on the trucking forums, concerned that they're not going to be able to lift product, or they're not strong enough. But for me, fortunately, that's not an obstacle. Everything that we deal with, the women aren't, or the truck drivers are not touching. I think a lot of it is just inclusivity, being part of the women's groups, developing a women's group, developing a safe space, advertising, showing that women are part of the industry, making sure that they're, a lot of times when you see a trucking advertisement, what do you see? You see a man behind a wheel. So just putting women behind the wheel, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm open for suggestions. I'd love to learn more as well. It's, it's a challenge. And I think that, for however long trucking's been around, it's known as it's a male dominated profession. It's not something that women think of. You don't hear many little girls saying, I want to grow up to be a truck driver. So
True.
we need to change that. We need to let little girls know you can grow up to be whatever you want to be.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more on that. So let me ask you this. Do you have any driving opportunities right now open?
Absolutely, yes. We have opportunities in Houston, Texas, and New Jersey, Delaware. Yes, absolutely.
And okay, because I have a very good contact that I will put you in contact with that could help you with that as well. And you can collaborate with that individual. And I'm just writing some notes down here. So when I reach out to her, to reach out to you and to discuss that. How many would you say openings that you have right now, driver-wise? 10, 15?
Well, no team. I have local and regional, but regional not so much as distance. It's more timing, because a lot of it is live loads. But we recently just received 15 new trucks. So we have we have a lot of openings right now. So that would be fantastic.
It's awesome to kind of see. What advice would you give somebody who wants to pursue that industry? Like you mentioned before, you do require like a year of experience. So let's say somebody has that year of experience, they've done everything that they needed to do, and they wanted to hit you up and be like, "Hey, I would love to drive for Hermann." What advice would you give for them, whether it be the interview process or even the reaching out to you process?
Good question.
Just be responsive. Be responsive. A lot of times I'll get calls from drivers and I think they're fantastic and, I'm excited. And then you can't get them for the next 2 weeks. Be responsive. But one piece of advice I would give to all drivers, especially new drivers, I'm seeing a lot of the newer drivers that are working for smaller operations or owner operators that the maintenance is not being done or they're not doing their pre-inspections the way they should. And it's unfortunate because I'm not able, they're getting pulled over and those violations are being put on the driver's record. So, it's an issue because it's going to follow them. They need to make sure that maintenance is being done. They need to make sure if they're over their hours, they're pulling over. Their record will follow them. And I'm unfortunately a lot of young drivers I'm seeing falling into that trap, and I have to disqualify them. So I tell everyone, this is your record. This is your responsibility. You have to be accountable for it.
So, and we definitely believe in control the controllables, right? Because if they're taking care of that maintenance and taking care of their pre-inspection, everything's good to go. You have nothing to say on that aspect. So lead everyone through kind of like the journey. So somebody kind of goes through that process of the interview, they get the job. Is there a situation where they go through like a formal training or something like that, or what kind of happens after the interview?
Absolutely. Well, I like to think that we're unique. We probably aren't, but I like to think we go the extra mile. When I have a new driver that completed orientation, our orientation is a full day of classroom. Truck drivers hate it. They don't have that attention span. They don't like to be in that classroom, but it is a full day from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. They're in there. And, I once they're through that orientation, and I warn them, and we feed them. We're constantly giving them food, trying to make sure they're happy. But the following day, we would do a ride along. We want them to experience what a day in the life of a Hermann truck driver is. We want to make sure that they understand how to use our systems and how to do everything right and just to see what our drivers go through. So they'll do a full day of a ride along. So it is a 2-day process. Once they complete orientation and the ride along, we would bring them back a 3rd day to assign them their truck, and that's the process. I'd like to think that we're giving them enough of a view or a window into our company so that when we hire, we want you for, we're looking for you to make a home. We want you to retire here. I think I had mentioned before the show, we have a driver that's worked with us over 50 years. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people to make it their home.
And that's, it's pretty awesome to kind of see because, when you have somebody who's able to be with a company and say, this is my home, I want to work with this place for like the rest of my career that it will allows me. It now allows them to like have referrals too, because truck drivers talk to each other, right? When they go to truck stops, everyone wants to, like Dean was mentioning yesterday, everybody wants to talk to each other. So when they have those discussions and be like, okay, you're driving for Hermann, how is it there? Okay,
Yes.
let's reach out to Kelly and let's have those conversations from there. So I think, that is like kind of like your best kind of referral marketing, I would kind of say, is when these truck drivers are from there. But, you've given so much amazing insight, Kelly. I kind of want to get to know Kelly, the person. I think that's one of the most important things because, that's people want to work with people that they really enjoy. So I know you mentioned what kind of some passions, what are some things you'd like to do outside of the grindstone of recruiting drivers?
I told you I need to know everything about everything. We were having a conversation before the show, and I explained to you that I've always gone against the grain. When I was a kid and going into high school, I was considering vocational school. I didn't follow that mold. My 4 courses were cosmetology, baking, welding, and auto body. I've always had to go against the grain. And that's just who I am. I don't see a male female world. It's a world, and I can break through and do, if my car needs the brakes changed, I'll do the brakes. I'm not paying a man to do it. I'll do it. But at the same time, I don't, we're just all human beings. And my ultimate goal is just to prove that women can do the same as men can do the same as women. We're all here. Let's work together.
They're all balanced, and there's no way better than that to end it. It's amazing to kind of see that. So, Kelly, how can people get a hold of you? If they're interested, they love your story. How can they get in touch with you?
They can reach out to me here at Harmann. And I believe my email and contact information is on my LinkedIn. Our website is hermanntds.com. And we'd love to have women drivers. We'd love to have any drivers, but women, we're here for you. We'll support you. And we have a home for you here.
I love that. Maybe we'll do like a follow-up in 6 months and see how everything is kind of going at Hermann. So I know you mentioned it was like your first time coming here, but you are a pro. So maybe you need to get like this little Hermann podcast going on, let's recruit some drivers, get some drivers on there. I want to see definitely from there. So we want to thank you so much for coming out this morning. I know you have a busy day, but you took the time to spend with us today and let us learn more, because there's a lot of nuggets that both Jeff and I got. I know the audience as well got it. So it's things that we don't think about, right? Like I'm in sales. You were talking about like the 2-day training. When I got into sales, I was just given a lead list and was like, okay, call them. I didn't know what to say. So I'm like, so from there. So once again, I want to thank you again for coming out this morning. Thank you to the audience.
Thank you.
You guys were amazing. If you did find value in this, which I know you did, like, comment, subscribe to our channel, Sales Chatter. We're here for all of you guys. If there are any kind of questions you guys want to let us know, and we'll definitely get that aired on there. Catch the replay at 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Again, thank you to our corporate sponsor, Daman at Centurion Trucking. I know I'm talking a lot here, but we got to get the corporate sponsor and make sure they're happy, right? So with that being said, Jeff, take us out, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly, for joining both Ryan and I this morning. We appreciate your insights and your honesty. You said a lot of things that, kind of hit home to me and were a concern for sure. I owe you a follow-up email with some women contacts that I know that could help you in your journey in trying to find what you need to find out there, especially on the trucking side. So I appreciate your insights on that, and love to have you back. So with that said, everybody have a great day. The Bodacious Cowboys out.
Thank you.